going on YouTube
Why?
because they won't allow anybody else into the courthouse other than the defendants because of the window.
Oh. I thought we were past that, but
So
Is-
what, we got people sitting out in their cars waiting to watch this on their
Mhm.
phones?
Mhm.
Oh, man.
We are live on YouTube.
Can we all dance right now? We become YouTube famous.
Sure. You're on there.
Awesome. I've always wanted to be YouTube famous. YouTube famous, I'm sorry, not YouTube.
I think YouTube is probably more famous than YouTube.
Can you tell Martin I got the
Probably
YouTube
right.
thing going? It's on right now. Please. Yes, yeah. Oh, those are mine. Trade you.
Hey,
Here, Kayla.
likes.
Yeah, that was the guy that you sentenced, Judge Gierhart. Yes, yes.
I thought she'd already.
She did, but apparently they sent it back because they want you to, or your signature on it and not hers. That I don't need, that can go, gee, this can go back to probation.
I think we were mailbox downstairs.
You too.
Bring the mail over. Is that all of our stuff?
This, yes.
Don't tell nobody that I'm being an overachiever, okay?
Well, doesn't the 3-part forms or whatever, don't those have to go downstairs anyways?
Yeah.
Okay, but this one is just Gary Ramirez.
But I'll just take everything down and take care of it
Okay.
when, after this is over. If we get out on before 4:30.
Oh my gosh, if this is gonna, no,
Huh?
this isn't gonna work. It's echoing.
That was mine.
I'm on YouTube, but it's echoing. Do you hear that? Whoops, I'm sorry, I just ran over
It's
your
only
foot.
echoing because Dwayne had his thing
I
in here.
just realized mine was on. I walked in, but
Oh, maybe that was it.
we still have a hard time hearing someone when they're in custody. I just is really
Hello?
loud.
Okay, the echoing's gone. But I need to close all rooms and, oh, he's still got 30 seconds. He can't touch anything because he's at the jail.
Right. Okay.
But I think I'm good.
Okay.
So then when we're done, I just have to either do that each time or just leave it continuously running and kick whoever out of the
Right,
meeting.
and if you want to, you just stop the live stream right there.
Okay,
Just close out a Zoom from there.
okay.
Okay.
All right, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just gonna make sure he can hear us. Here he comes. All right, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, and the volume's up all the way.
No, I'm saying it's so loud, sometimes you almost can't hear it. That's what I'm saying.
Oh,
But,
Like clipping because it's too loud.
yeah.
try saying something again.
Hi.
Okay. That?
Uh,
Please proceed.
It's the continuation of the hearing of the people of the state of Michigan versus Nathaniel Gregory Burnett, file 21-15421 FH. All right, Mr. Burnett, have you had an opportunity to speak with your attorney?
yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Burgess, anything you'd like to add in that regard?
Yeah, I did speak with Samuel, Your Honor. He was concerned about why he cut the tether off, and and I told him we would address that at the time of sentencing. He was off his meds and had some real issues going on, but he agrees that he did cut the tether off, understands the rights he's waiving by entering that type of a plea, and we'd ask you to proceed with the discussion, plea agreement we had previously.
All right, and that's your understanding of the agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Burnett, your attorney indicates that he believes you wish to offer a plea of guilty or responsible to count 3, which alleges that you cut off your tether without approval. You understand
Yeah.
that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that true? How do you wish to plead to that allegation?
Guilty.
And what makes you guilty?
I got my tether.
Okay, and no one told you you could?
No.
All right. You satisfied with those facts, Mr. Prosecutor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Satisfied, Mr. Burgess?
Yes, Your Honor.
Very well, the court will accept Mr. Burnett's plea of violating his probation as to count 3 of the violation allegations. I find it knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily made with the advice and assistance of counsel. Counts 1 and 2 will be dismissed. This matter will be referred to the probation office for a recommendation as to what your sentence should be for violating your probation. And your attorney will be notified of the sentencing date. Understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Anything further, counsel?
All set here, Your Honor.
All right, that concludes this matter.
All right, I'm gonna remove you now, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Next matter is the people of the state of Michigan versus Brandon Lee Matthews, file 21-015-567. FH. Your appearances for the record?
Eric and host on behalf of people, Your Honor.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Dwayne Burgess on behalf of Brandon Matthews.
Your name, sir?
Brandon Matthew.
Mr. Matthews, do you understand why you're here today?
Yes.
You understand that you previously pled no contest to the charge of aggravated domestic violence second offense.
Yes, sir.
And you're here to be sentenced on that charge this afternoon.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Burgess is here representing you, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Burgess, have you had an opportunity to read and review the pre-sentence report and recommendation and discuss it with your client?
I have, Your Honor.
Are there any factual inaccuracies you'd like to point out?
No.
Is there anything you'd like to say on behalf of Mr. Matthews in regard to his sentence before I decide?
Yes, Your Honor. You know, we had a cops agreement in this case to a 90-day cap on any initial jail time. It wasn't an agreement for 90 days, but a cap. I would point out to the court that the sentence guidelines are 0 to 9. And Mr. Matthews has no prior felonies. I'd ask that you order him to a term of probation and consider deferring any jail time. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Prosecutor, do you have any additions, corrections, or deletions to the report?
None that I noted, Your Honor.
All right. Anything you'd like to say about the sentence in this matter?
Your Honor, we'd be asking for more time, but for the 90-day Cobb's cap, the defendant broke his victim's jaw, causing several, according to the report, several bone fragments floating around in there. And after consultation with a facial surgeon, over apparently an argument over his ex being pregnant, I think he deserves every minute of the 90 days that are recommended by the MDOC, if not more.
All right, Mr. Matthews, is there anything you'd like to say about your sentence before I decide?
No, sir.
Anyone else who wishes to be heard? No one else? Well, Mr. Matthews, I have those same things written down here. Broken jaw, bone fragments, closed fist striking the victim. Your record's not that long, but there's a lot of assaultive conduct in there. You know, when it comes down to it, the worst crimes that we see are those that hurt other people. Of course, the worst one is killing them. And it goes down from there. Not that other things aren't bad, like stealing something from a party store or whatever else it might be. But the worst things are hurting someone else. Now, this person as I said, has a broken jaw, had to have surgery, had bone fragments over something that really wasn't that important, was it? Well, based upon the need to discipline you as a wrongdoer to protect society from these kinds of activities and the need to deter you and others from committing these kinds of offenses, being hopeful because of your young age of 20 and lack of long criminal record, you have no felonies, 2 misdemeanors, and a juvenile record. I believe you do have good potential for reformation and rehabilitation, but you've got to get rid of this. You can get angry, but it's how you express that anger that gets you into trouble. So I would say, if I were you, I would thank your attorney for getting this 90-day cap, because you might be going to jail for quite a bit longer. The sentencing guidelines go up to 270 days. You could be going to jail. So it shall be the sentence of this court that you'll be placed on probation for 2 years with the following special conditions. First, you're not to use or possess any alcoholic beverages or other intoxicants, or enter bars or other places where the primary purpose is to serve alcoholic beverages for drinking on site. Next, you're are to comply with any requirements for alcohol testing by your probation officer or any law enforcement officer. You are to complete outpatient or substance abuse treatment if referred by your probation officer. You're to complete mental health, domestic violence, battery intervention, or other recommended treatment if it is recommended. You are to comply with the Michigan Department of Corrections electronic monitoring program and or remote alcohol monitoring when referred by your probation officer. You're to obey all court orders. You are to possess either a valid state of Michigan driver's license or a personal identification card issued by the Secretary of State's office. You are not to engage in any assaultive, abusive, threatening, or intimidating behavior. You are to have no contact of any kind with anyone you know to have a felony record unless you first obtain permission from your probation officer to do so. You're not to use any object as a weapon. You're not to own a weapon or possess one, or an imitation weapon, or be in the presence of anyone else who does. You're to contact your probation officer no later than the first business day following your release from jail. You are to comply with any written or verbal orders of your probation officer. I will eliminate numbers 14 and 15. You are to report any arrest or police contact or loss of employment or change of residence to your probation officer within 1 business day. You are to be in your approved residence between the hours of 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. unless you are first excused by your probation officer from doing so in writing. You're to have no contact of any kind with Amanda Martinez or be within 500 feet of a residence, school, or place of employment. You're to maintain employment of at least 30 hours a week and do nothing to be terminated. You are to serve 90 days in the Tuscola County Jail with credit for 5 days you've served already. You are to comply with DNA testing and pay the $60 fee. State costs of $68, crime victims' rights assessment of $130, court costs of $250 at the rate of $15 a month, and a fine of $250 at the rate of $15 a month. Are you working now?
Currently, no.
No. Okay. Any questions about the sentence?
None here. Thank you.
It's my duty to inform you, Mr. Matthews, that you are entitled to the appellate review of your conviction and sentence. This is done by filing an application for leave to appeal. If you cannot afford to hire an attorney to represent you on appeal, and you request an attorney, the court will appoint an attorney for you. You may request an attorney by completing the request for appointment of attorney section on the form you have received or will now be receiving within 42 days from this date if you want to appeal. Today, we need you to sign the receipt that you received that document today. Does a half reduction in probation apply to this kind of a case? Or not?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch the first
The
part.
reduction of half of the probationary period, does that apply to an assaultive case?
You know, I am not sure, Your Honor.
Mr. Burgess?
I believe it might, so I guess at least if we give him the right.
Okay, I'll tell him it's possible.
Okay,
It's possible that once you have completed one half of your original probation period and all required programming, the probation department will notify the court that you may be eligible for early discharge from probation. If the probation department fails to do this and you have not violated probation in the immediately preceding 3 months, you may notify the court that you may be eligible for early discharge on a form provided by the state court administrator's office. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
Any questions?
No, sir.
Anything further?
No, thank you, Judge.
no, Your Honor.
Good luck to you, sir.
Your Honor, I know we're off the record, but looking at the SCAO form, it looks like it is not available for DV offenses.
Well, maybe not. It's a domestic violence offense. What I told you about the half the probation, I don't think that applies in this case. Getting off probation after you served half the time, I don't believe applies to this case because it's domestic violence. All right. Jail is a certain court, we have one in the lodge, Brandon Matthews.